Hey Hofstra fans, welcome to the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com. My name is Kevin Dexter, joined by the head coach of the Hofstra Pride softball team, Bill Edwards. Coach, thanks for the time. How are you doing today?
Great to be here. Doing all right.
Well, now your team on a 6-game winning streak, a big 3-game series down at Georgia State last weekend. You had a couple of midweek games. What have been your overall thoughts here on this little streak?
Starting to figure it out a little bit. Starting to play the way that I thought we could play. Took us a couple months to get going, but once we figured some things out and worked on a few things during that 10-day period, I think we're starting to get it together.
Well, looking back now this weekend against Georgia State, it was your first conference series of the year, and of course against the team in Georgia State who you lost to in the CAA championship last year, so a lot of things coming back from last year. What made it so successful to be able to go down to Atlanta in your first conference series after struggling a little bit at the beginning of the season and finally put it together in that big of a stage?
We came back from our final road trip and had 10 days to prepare. And we really focused on Georgia State, and we focused on the pitching. We focused on a great game plan. You can always have a great game plan, but it's up to the players to execute it. And they executed our game plan absolutely perfect. We worked on some hitting things. We worked on a lot of a defensive system, and put it all together during that 10-day period. You know, when you play the best teams in the country, when you're playing, Louisiana Lafayette, UCLA, Tennessee, and Michigan, they point out your mistakes, what you can do and what you can't do in a heartbeat. And that's why we played a lot of those teams early. And we knew what we had to work on. We came back, and during that 10-day period, not only did we focus on our weaknesses, but we really focused on Georgia State, and it paid off.
And Olivia Galati throws every single inning in the series against Georgia State. Was that something that you were looking to do the whole time, or is it just you have to throw your best gun out there every single time against a team in such an important series?
We always play it by ear. We always go game to game. We sort of gave Olivia a heads up prior to that she might get all three, but we have faith in Erin too. It was just a matter of she was on fire. She was throwing the ball well. The ball was coming out of her hand real relaxed and easy. She was throwing, to spots. She had command of all of her pitches, so why not keep throwing her? She has tougher workouts in the bullpen during practice than she has sometimes during the course of the game. People say throwing her 3 games in a row, oh my God, he's going to wear her out and the whole thing. But we work our pitchers real hard, and she really responded with 3 outstanding performances.
And something you mentioned to me last week was key for this team is going to be finally getting some timely hitting. It seemed like you did do that down at Georgia State.
It was very timely. We got down 3-0 in that first game, and we had such a confident game plan going in that after they got the 3 runs, we told the team, just stay with the game plan. We're going to be okay. And they did. And being able to do that, and then having the ability, almost like the perfect storm almost in that second game, where we got all of our timely hits. Every timely hit that we could have gotten, we got during the course of the game. And then in that final game, we got the 1 timely hit that we had to have sometimes. So sometimes it's only 1 timely hit, and then when you get to 16 runs, you get like 4 of them. So we were very pleased with the way that we played down there.
And it seems like a lot of the hits as of late here over this last little bit of a winning streak have been via the long ball. A lot of players coming in and showing their power game. Have you seen anything different from them as in terms to hits that would have been singles and doubles that are now being driven over the fence?
We knew we had that potential, but we didn't know that it would be developing this early in the season. Sometimes hitters have to figure out what they can and cannot do and what their pitch is. We've been hitting and staying within that strike zone very, very disciplined lately, and when you stay in that strike zone and get on time, that's the other key thing to hitting, is you have to be on time to be able to hit the long ball. We've been on time, we've been hitting at good pitches, and if you just catch it right, we have probably 6 people in our lineup that have the potential to put one out of the park, which is good to have. So we're very, very pleased with the way that we're staying within the strike zone and attacking the ball and getting on time. And the long ball comes, long ball is a part of that. It's a very fine line between hitting a line drive, a ground ball, or a home run. And right now, the ball is leaving the park for us.
You also had the 2 midweek games this week against Iona and LA. You pick up 2 victories and 2 games that were pretty tough. You had up 7-1 on Tuesday, and they came back and made it a 7-6 game, and then yesterday have to go to 9 innings. What did you see in both of those games?
Saw persistence, saw discipline, saw a team that was still playing the same way that they were playing against Georgia State. I was very concerned about midweek games, because a lot of times the kids are running from class, so they're really not focused on the game per se. But we stayed again within the zone. We had great at-bats. We got the good pitching again. We played fairly good defense. So when you get that during the midweek games, and all of our midweek games are against very good teams. We could schedule some, if you would say, lesser teams during midweek, but every midweek game on our schedule is a very tough, competitive game to keep us sharp, to keep us fresh, to keep us seeing good pitching, to keep us playing at a high level. And to get those 2 wins over Iona, which is a defending MAC champ, and LIU, which is every year, it's just so competitive. It was very, very good to see, in that situation.
And from here on out until the end of the season, you have those, whether it be one game or double headers, you have those midweek games in between every conference series. Is that something that you fear might bring some fatigue, or is it something that's going to be important?
Well, we get to a point during midweek games where you can practice just so much. And in our game, you have to play games in order to stay sharp. There's just so much that you can do during practice in baseball and softball that is going to create a game situation. So why not play a game? And if you play the game, and if you pitchers get the pitch count that you have to have, we sometimes forget that pitchers will pitch in a bullpen on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. And they may throw 170 pitches during their bullpen workout. So for them to go out and throw 125 pitches during a game is a piece of cake for them. So they're getting a competitive workout, they're getting a game situation, they're getting judged obviously on every pitch that they throw during the course of a game. So why not play a game rather than giving them that workout? We have to hit in practice, and why not hit live in a competitive situation, which gets you concentrating to play games. So playing games during the midweek, particularly against good competition, really keeps you sharp for the weekend.
As we spoke about before, Olivia throws every inning against Georgia State. You throw Erin Wade out there on Tuesday against Iona. Olivia pitches yesterday against LIU. What did you see from Erin coming back after having a little bit of time off from that game situation?
Yeah, threw absolutely great. Suffered some real bad luck in that final inning, which was not her fault at all. We knew she was getting a little fatigued, and if it was a game that was a close game, I probably would have pulled her maybe going into that 7th inning. But playing in that 7th inning, the defense didn't help her at all. She's definitely should have gotten out of that inning, with some good defense. Defense let her down a little bit. She really competed in that game all the way through for the first 7 innings, and then you can see the fatigue set in, which is why we brought in Olivia for the 7th. But she threw a great game against Iona, which was great to see. She had command back of her pitches, and she had command of her changeup, which she has to have. And it was really good for her, and I was really happy to see her win that game.
Well, coming up at this weekend, another CAA series. You have Drexel coming here to Hofstra Softball Stadium. First off, before we look at the series, after being on the road for so long, you finally get to play some home games, but now it's a stretch of home games in a row. Is that something that you're looking at as certainly a positive?
Love it. Love playing at home. Love our stadium. Love our fans. Love everything about our softball facility here. We're very comfortable here. We're in a great routine here. Athletes need routine, and to keep them in that routine, during the course of a weekday game, and then, of course, on the weekend for conference play, it's just great to be in that good scheduled routine, and to play at home is very, very special for us.
Well, what are you looking to see from the Dragons this weekend to try to keep this winning streak alive?
Believe it or not, we've been so focused on game to game that we really haven't, or I haven't really looked at Drexel in depth yet, which starts today and tomorrow, and then, we'll have a game plan going in. But I know that they always play us tough. They have a couple pitchers returning from last year. They've been very competitive in their non-league games or in their non-conference games, and they're going to be a real good test for us. We're going to have to play well.
Is there anything different you're looking at in terms of the game plan, or is it going to be the same keys as usual, pitching and defense, and then still getting that time ahead?
You're learning, okay? Unlike other sports where you can point out certain, one-on-one matchups, and, well, we want to mismatch here, want to get the ball down low, or, we want to throw a little bit more this weekend. Our game is all about timing, and it's all about pitching and defense, okay? And it's all about the timely hitting, and the discipline that the players have to have in order to maintain that. Is really what we look for all the time. And if we can maintain the discipline and the competitive spirit that we have to have, I think we'll be okay.
All right. Well, Coach Bill Edwards' squad taking on Drexel at home at Hofstra Softball Stadium, a doubleheader on Saturday and at home on Sunday as well. Coach, thanks for the time, and good luck against Drexel this weekend.
Always a pleasure. Thanks.
And thank you for tuning in to the WB Mason Coaches Report right here on GoHofstra.com.